What's up, guys? Welcome back to The Educated Barfly. Today we're going to be making one of my absolute favorite, hands down favorite old-fashioned variations called a Talent Scout. It got some really interesting history behind it, but first let's make the cocktail. So first thing we are going to do, getting through this fast today, Marius.
It's almost too fast. Yeah.
On fire today. Okay, first thing we're going to do is 2 dashes of Angostura bitters. Now here we go. This is become an argument between me and Marius a little bit. I am using a Japanese bitters dasher. As you can tell, it has this nice dashing top on the top of it. Now here's the thing. Japanese bitters dashers are my favorite type of bitters dasher because it gives you a very precise and measured dash. 1 dash of this bitters bottle equals half a dash from an Angostura bitters bottle. And since I assume you guys are using an Angostura bitters bottle for your cocktails, I do double the amount of this. A lot of people have called me out for it. I kind of feel like I should just put it into an informational episode that I can just link above or something.
I mean, we always write it in like...
Yes, we write it, I know. And I know that it seemed to me like you were getting a little bit tired of having to say it all the time. Marius was like, why don't you just use an Angostura bitters bottle? And the reason why is because I'm such a... I mean, I'm committing YouTube suicide here, but I'm just so particular about the way that I make cocktails. I just can't bring myself to use an Angostura bitters bottle. The thing is that what you got to understand about dashing bitters is that there's something called a tight dash and there's something called a loose dash, okay? And it all depends how much bitters is in the actual bottle. So basically, when you have some level of the liquid is really up high, there's less space for it to dash through here to hit the dasher top, and so it'll give you a more measured dash. As the volume decreases, you have more space inside the bottle. So as you flip it upside down, the velocity of the liquid inside the bottle is faster and it gives you a larger dash, which is called a loose dash. This top sort of rectifies that a little bit. You know, it accounts for it a little bit. In a Angostura bitters bottle, that dasher top is crazy. You get this massive dash, and then when the dash is loose, it's even more massive. So for me, I kind of feel like everyone should just buy these. Everyone should have these. They sell them on Amazon.
Link below.
Link below. Do our affiliate link, help us out, help the channel out a little bit. But I gotta say that I even have problems using other dashers because the thing is that these are the only dashers that are really kind of standardized in the amount of volume they put out. Like even other dashers that just have nice, cute little dasher tops on them aren't necessarily as measured a dash as that. I'm so glad we had this 15-minute talk on the reason why I use a Japanese bitters dasher in the show. And as a result of that, since I gave you that nice tidbit of information that you guys are all so much more knowledgeable for having, you guys should hit the like button and smash the subscribe button for us. And then let's get into making the cocktail now, shall we, Marius?
Yeah.
Can we do that now, please?
Let's do it.
All right, so second thing we're gonna do, even though it took us 5 minutes to get here, is just a ½ ounce of dry Curacao. And then we're gonna be doing 2 ounces and 1/4. I like to use the old granddad, big proofy, bonded 100 proof stuff for this particular cocktail. Any bourbon will do. For me, this 100 proof bourbon, so either this or the Evan Williams bonded are gonna be really, really nice in this cocktail. We are gonna do a nice little stir here.
And as you can see, we're running kind of low. So if you want to go and buy us a bottle at the virtual bottle program, go to our website.
Yep, theeducatedbarfly.com. It could be your name that I was shouting out while making this lovely cocktail. There is a couple of things that I forgot, which I'm gonna take this time, letting that cocktail sit there to go get. I need a lemon twist for this cocktail.
So in this one, the sugar comes from the Curacao?
Only, and so it's very dry because there's a very low amount of sugar in that Curacao. There is sugar, but not as much. And it's not as sharp. It's so, you know, Curacao is, it's funny because I always say like maraschino liqueur or Curacao is really dry. And people are like, why do you always say it's dry? It's sweet, it's sweet. And it's true, it is sweet, but like within the context of what it is, since we know that it is a liqueur and that it is sweet, the other, descriptor for it would be dry in that sweetness, because it does have a certain dryness on the finish that you won't find in other liqueurs, which are a little bit more cloying in their sweetness. That makes sense, right, Marius?
Nope.
Thank you.
I don't know what you mean, but okay.
You don't know what I mean? Well, maybe you should drink a little more Curacao.
Right.
Can't something be sweet because, if we all just agree that liqueur is sweet, couldn't then something also be a little bit dry on the finish as well?
Yeah.
So like a dry
But is it
sweetness? That's what I was saying.
Is it that it's sweet that makes it dry, or that it's not as sweet that makes it dry?
No, I mean, I think that it's the other elements that make it dry. So for instance, there is a portion of sugar in it that is going to make it sweet. Also, this is a cognac base, right? So it's going to be kind of on the sweeter side, but in that, maybe the orange peel that they use, right? The pith from the orange peels that they use.
I mean, it's also called
lend
dry
a certain
Curacao.
dryness to it. What's that?
It's called dry Curacao, so yeah.
This particular one is actually dry, but other Curaçaos are not called dry Curacao. This is just the Pierre Ferrand version of Curacao. That said, Curacao is less dry than something like triple sec, which I think has a lot more dryness. It's a lot drier on the finish. And that could be for a lot of different reasons. Can I do like a nice little twisty pants? I think we're just gonna go with the regular twist up in here. Or should we cut it, stick it on the side like that? I don't know.
Do your regular.
Just do the thing. I just want to do the regular thing. Let's take a sip. God damn it, that isn't one of my favorite drinks ever. Now, everyone always asks me what my favorite drink is, and I always kind of stumped on like what my actually favorite drink is. The thing is that I don't have one favorite drink, but what I am partial to is stirred whiskey cocktails, usually rye. I'm a little bit more partial to rye than bourbon, but if I'm going to drink a bourbon, I like to drink the proofy stuff, because even though it tends to be a little bit sweeter, it has that nice kind of proof that sort of kind of bolsters up that spicy character that I like so much. It has all the regular usual notes. This is a very simple cocktail. You've got your Angostura bitters providing a little bit of obviously bitters and spice to it. You got that like kind of little island spice kind of flavor to it, and then you have the Curacao, which is your sugar content. Now, because it's not super sweet, we added, instead of 1/4 ounce, this is what I would normally do for sugar in an old fashioned. We did 1/2 ounce. And then the 2 1/4 of bourbon. It's really nice and proofy, so it's nice and spicy. It's got that orange character. It's got that spice characteristic. It's good. It's really nice. This is one of those cocktails that has very few ingredients, but it has really, really a lot of nuance in its flavor profile, I think. It's a fantastic sipper, and one of those drinks that as the ice melts, it is going to evolve nicely. So this cocktail was first published in Ted Saucier's 1951 book, Bottoms Up. Ted Saucier is actually an interesting character. He is a guy that emigrated from Canada to New York City, to Manhattan specifically, when he was 24 years old in 1918, and became the publicist for the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. Along with creating the book Bottoms Up, or writing the book Bottoms Up, he was the co-author of a book. Okay, so I looked in his obituary to get a lot of this information, and it said that he was the co-author of a book called Peacock Alley. Now, Peacock Alley is the name of one of the bars in the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. There is a book called The Old Waldorf Astoria Bar Book, which I think was the book that the obituary was referencing and maybe got wrong. I did a search on the internet to see if there was a book called Peacock Alley about the Waldorf Astoria, but I came up with nothing. I know that in Bottoms Up, he shared a lot of the Waldorf Astoria cocktail recipes in that particular book. And then he co-authored this other book. But he was generally considered a hospitality, food, and beverage expert. And I thought that was really interesting. He died in 1970 in New York City at the age of 76 due to complications from a long illness. That's all I got on him. But we reference Ted Saucier kind of a lot in this on this channel. We've done a few cocktails from Bottoms Up, and so I thought giving a little bit of information behind the man would be really, really good for this channel. I know you guys like the history, so there you have it, guys. The Talent Scout If you like this channel, please hit like and subscribe and check us out on Patreon and YouTube memberships. We've got some good stuff going on there. We've been releasing longer episodes, sometimes when I flub things up or when we have long conversations with Marius. A lot of the banter has shifted over to our membership videos.
So now it's optional.
What's optional?
The banter.
Oh, it's banter optional. Yeah, now we get like a more streamlined version on Barfly with a little bit of banter. But if you want to hear the crazy stuff, you got to go to the memberships. They go to the YouTube membership as well as the Patreon membership. And if you want to put your name on a bottle, like Marius said earlier, the virtual bottle program is at theeducatedbarfly.com. If you want to check out our t-shirts and other merch, you also go to theeducatedbarfly.com. It's in our shopping section. We also have been printing some good stuff. Marius has been upgrading our website quite a bit lately. He's been doing a really good job at it. And I guess I'll see you guys another time. That's all I got for you today. I think that's enough.